That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello, everyone. This is Watson Prunay, your host of Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio, and I'm glad that you're joining me as we're going to conclude this week, and we're going to do this with a lot of fun. I know a lot of you are so eager to see what craziness I have to say. Well, you could start off by going to my website, which is Battle4Freedom.com. From there, share it out with as many people as you can, as well as not only Battle4Freedom.com, but I also want you to do me a favor and go to Mojo50.com and share that out. Share that web page out with as many people as you possibly can. Again, I'm your host, Watson Prunay from Battle for Freedom. And if you want to interact, you can do like Carolyn and Heidi have done this morning. They've gone to Facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio. Good morning, Lep. Thank you for being part of the program. And Lisa, thank you. So I want to talk today, well, before talking about finding your creative, forgive me. How can I hope that that Dave and the hard workers at American Pride Roasters will forgive me for not even thinking about talking about them this early in the morning. Hold on a second.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
American Pride Roasters, share with as many people as you possibly can, folks, because of the fact that this is how we get people enjoying their Java kick. Don't go through those drive-thrus. Don't go through those drive-thrus. Basically, drive your behind to a keyboard and to your desktop or your laptop or your phone and go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Order it today. The best coffee in the nation and the world, American Pride Roasters coffee. So also, as 2021 is proving to be a hold my beer to 2020, why don't you consider some biofeedback therapy just to overcome the craziness about to come?
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code Mojo50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
Yes, get New Life Holistic and tell the crew there we sent you. Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, part of the Mojo50 team. We all appreciate you. Everyone, thank you. I see that Linda's joined as well too, just to be part of this as we get into the weekends upon us, okay? The weekend's upon us, and I want us to put our energies into something that really matters. There's so much that you can do, and I think that 2020, and good morning, Brian and Keith, as well as Josh and Jill. 2021 has proven to be very challenging, very taxing. We're just in the first month. We're now made it to the halfway mark of the first month of 2021. We're at the halfway mark, and it is downright stressful. It's downright ludicrous. To see half the things that are taking place. It's stressing people out left and right. What was some of the different things that I saw here that's earlier? Okay, so here's one of the biggest ones that's out there. Now, I was reading an article yesterday where Jack Dorsey basically said that he was kind of concerned. Yes, the Trump ban took place, but it did set a different precedent. Well, now we have more information from Project Veritas that's exposing the craziness of what's going on, the clear bias that we've always been saying that's been there. The clear bias that's been there by Twitter, and that they said that this is bigger than one account. So this is the whole idea of the Twitter purge. It was never about doing things the right way. See, and I think that as this information plays itself out, or as this information is now being made aware to everyone, and where we're really concerned about it, they're like, see, we've been talking about this, we've been sharing with people. This is the barbarism that we have to face because of these agencies that have been shutting us down. And thanks, Lep, for the great crew listening via Zoom right now. Some may be on the road listening in. Please keep your eye on the road. And no accidents, please. But here it is. We've got more information. We're exposing these people. And I'm saying I want us to put our worry to rest. The truth is going to be found out. The truth is, and I think many of us, we've been waiting so long. We've been desperate to see judgment on this side. And I'm there with you. I wanted to see the Clintons arrested for all that they've done. I wanted to see the Obamas arrested. I want to see all these people arrested. But it's just not happening. It's just not happening. What was this? Now, this is really crazy because, okay, here's the problem with the idea of this Twitter thing, because the people who really need to hear it are yawning right now because they have nothing better to do. That was perfect timing that yawn came out right when I needed to do it. Well, this is how you know it's really bad. This is how you know it's really bad when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez agrees with you. Let's listen to her audio on this.
Let's see. Any discussion in Congress about federal truth and reconciliation or media literacy initiatives to help with healing? I can't say, I don't think that the response, this kind of like medium term response has fully crystallized yet. But what I can say is that there's absolutely a commission that's being discussed, but it seems to be more investigatory in style rather than truth and reconciliation. And so I think that's an interesting concept for us to explore. And, I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. And so that's something that we're looking into.
So here is the problem, is as she sits there talking about reigning, and they were saying that there was issues of being concerned about having that kind of power, and you want to have difference of thought. But the problem is, in the midst of saying that, you don't believe that. Because if there was difference of thought, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would actually argue more vocally about giving people the right to say whatever they want to say. It's difference of opinion, because when you look at where was the public rebuke, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, when Rashida Tlaib said we're gonna impeach the MFer. Where was the rebuke when you did I don't know. Can someone correct me if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez basically rebuked Kathy Griffith for the severed head, the bloodied head, the rappers who were shooting Trump, all these different things that are going on. the different art crew, art stages and acting platforms that are basically burning, killing, or destroying the effigy of Donald Trump, President Donald J. Trump. So while it's great that things can be said, my biggest concern, though, is there is no consistency. We know there's not going to be consistency. We know and I think that's the reason why I'm trying to get us to redirect our energies, because of the fact that we have put a lot of energy into exposing a lot of the different things. We want justice. We want an end to the corruption that's going on. And so what we do is we put ourselves in compromising positions. We put ourselves in compromising positions that we compromise our integrity, we compromise our value, and then we wonder why things don't work out the way that we want. We get upset, we get frustrated when the worst thing happens or the most unexpected thing happens in the midst of the height of our emotions and the height of our joy. And honestly, no matter how hard we try to hide the truth, it always comes out. And honestly, if we're not judged for our actions back then, we possibly could be judged for our unrepentant actions before then. It's a word of warning that we need to find our creative and put worry to rest. If not, we'll face the worst case scenario. I'm going to share a couple of stories with you that's this is kind of sad as you sit here looking at this thing here. So first one is, here it is. You have this story where a Black Lives Matter activist who told CNN he entered the Capitol building simply to document the siege is arrested after video footage reveals. He shouted, "It's our house, and we got to get this blank burned." John Earl Sullivan, 26, entered the Capitol building during the siege last Wednesday. The left-wing activist, who was previously participated in a Black Lives Matter demonstration, claimed he was simply documenting the events on his phone. He was interviewed by Anderson Cooper on CNN afterward, where it was implied that he was passively observing the situation. However, Sullivan has now been arrested after video footage appeared to show him inciting rioters. He is charged with knowingly entering a restricted building, violent entry, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds, and in suffering with law enforcement. Sullivan is already facing riot and criminal mischief charges stemming from a Black Lives Matter protest in Utah last year. See, here's the thing about it is, as we watch this thing unfold here, because this is what we wanted to see, right? Not just the right be penalized, but the left be penalized as well. Justice is slow in that regard. Justice is slow. Not everyone escapes the radar of justice. So here he is, he tries to lie and say why he was there. And just as there have been Republicans lying, saying I was not doing anything crazy. You had the Republican lawmaker from, what was it, Pennsylvania or Virginia, who sat there, and the whole time he videotaped himself storming the Capitol. He may be losing his job. He may be facing charges. We're free to do whatever we want, folks, but we're not free of the consequences. We're not free from the consequences. And you have to understand that sometimes those activities and the consequences cannot be something so temporal, but it could actually be something permanent. So let's get back to this young lady who lost her life. It's really sad because here it is. You remember her, the young lady, the Air Force vet, Ashley Babbitt. Everyone's now saying, say her name. I see the meme. Say her name. Check this out. Dead MAGA rioter Ashley Babbitt and her Marine husband were in a throuple with a live-in 29-year-old bartender who is sticking by the widower's side as he mourns his wife's Capitol shooting death. They basically say that they were in this throuple situation. See, so if you're married, and I know you're like, oh, Watson, don't go there. I have to go there. I have to go there because we keep thinking that we could do whatever we want. We'll be free of the consequences because it's freedom to live whatever way we want to. God says all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. You could do whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that you're free from the consequences on earth or in heaven of what you've done. That does not mean you could drink all day long, but that does not free you from the consequences of a failing liver and so much more. I know, oh, don't talk about this vet. Don't talk about this hero. Oh, Watson, you went there. We spend all our days pointing out the hypocrisy. We sit there talking about the failures, the moral failures of other people all day, but we don't want to talk about the moral failures of the people on our side. That in and of itself is a moral failure because it's called hypocrisy. It's called a double standard. We want to venerate people who break the law. We don't want hoodlums being venerated, but if it's a vet, she stood her charge. Give her a medal. She died a hero, breaking the law. Think about this. If the hoodlums were breaking into our homes, if it was Black Lives Matter or Antifa breaking into our homes, and we had our favorite firearm of choice, we'd blow them away if they tried to break into our home. If they tried to break into our home. So that's the people's house. They can't do that. Why didn't they do it with Black Lives Matter? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Just breaking the law. So I had there was a young man who went to one of my old churches. Very successful kid, very, very, very amazing family. Mother, she passed away a few years back. But this young black man was going to, I think it was Ball State. At one point in his career, I think he was like 25th in the nation for receptions. He was breaking many records, and it was really powerful. And that he was getting scholarships because of his excellent skill and play. And he decided that he was going to do something because everybody else was doing it. He decided he wanted to smoke marijuana. He wanted to get stoned. Everybody else was doing it. His teammates were telling him, you need to do this. Go for it. You won't get busted. There's no problem. But guess what? He got busted. And I'm sitting here looking at his life, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, but dude, you know what's going on here. And he was angry. Not angry because of the fact that he did it. He was angry because he got busted and no one else did. His scholarships were threatened. But it's like, dude, but you knew the rules. You should not smoke pot. You should not do drugs. And instead of being angry with himself, he was angry that he got busted. Over and over and over again. We're not remorseful for our actions. We just don't want to be penalized. We want to get away with it like everybody else. Well, yes, you can find your creative in jail and punishment, all these other different things. It's your choice. But I dare say that we need to consider what it is that we're doing and ask ourselves, why? Why are we doing this? Why do we have to have our way in being law breakers? And once we get to that point that we figure it out, remove it. Get rid of it. Right now, what is it? Here's another one. I saw this because this is something that's going to, it's going to stress everybody else out. Oh, look at this. Joe Biden, he unveils a $1.9 trillion, $1.9 trillion in new COVID relief funding, including $1,400 checks to take a total to $2,000 of $15 minimum wage and $160 billion to solve dismal vaccine rollout as he promises 100 million shots will be delivered in his first 100 days. So because you know what's going to happen here is the first thing we're going to talk about is look at that right off the bat. He's trying to spend $2 billion. He already is spending like there's no tomorrow. Don't go there. Don't go there. If you remain silent to the $7 near $8 trillion that Donald Trump has spent in the last 4 years, and you were angry about Barack Obama doing it, don't go there. Do not go there. I want to tell you how we can spend better time maximizing our lives so that we're not paralyzed We're not paralyzed. I'm not saying that this new stuff isn't important, but learn it, read it, quickly move on. Read it, learn it, quickly move on. The reason why I'm saying this to you is because of the fact it's time to find your creative. It's time for us to find our creative. And we can't do it if we're allowing these things to work us up. We're stressed out about what's going to happen. Is Donald Trump going to be president? Are we going to have socialism? Am I going to lose my rights? Am I going to lose my guns? Am I going to lose my drinks? Am I going to lose my weed? What am I going to lose? Find your creative. Find more creative things to do, because of the fact that if you don't, you're going to be stressed out and you're not going to get anything accomplished in life. I realize that. Do you realize, or do you understand that in 2020, I got nothing accomplished? I did radio. I did a lot of radio, but there were a lot of personal projects I wanted to get accomplished, and I didn't get it done. Now, earlier last year, or towards the end of last year, I told you about this program to look into. It's called Atlassian Jira. By December, February 4th. Okay, you have to understand, by February 4th, so you want to order this, I think, before the February 3rd or earlier, you need to order this software. It's $10. You can get this thing for 10 users, and it's great for you doing development, task management, and everything like that. I think that's the reason why we've been off track, not as in off track that comes on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get off track because we normally don't look at a calendar. My boss says he lives and he dies by his calendar. That he lives and he dies by his calendar. How many of us turn around and choose that we're going to have something that drives us, that moves us to follow schedules or whatever? Well, that's what this tool does. It's basically, software teams use it for planning and tracking and seeing exactly where you're going to go. You need to do something. If you don't have a tool, if you don't have a Franklin planner, if you don't have these different things to help you move forward, it only puts you in the worst position possible, that you will fail if we don't have anything guiding and keeping us accountable. If there is no warning or reminders of what you need to do, you completely screw everything up. My daughter on Thursdays has a 9 o'clock meeting, 9 o'clock Zoom session. And so sometimes I get wrapped up in what I'm doing here, and I am supposed to set an alarm to basically go off to let her know, hey, you have a meeting this Thursday at 9 o'clock. Now, she'll be in her homework. She'll be working on class work, but she missed the Zoom meeting. I was busy. She was busy. Everyone else is busy doing their thing. My wife is off to work. Get a planner. Get something that can remind you exactly what is important and deal with those things now. Carrie Alexander says, yes, stop putting all hope on him staying. They are already packing his Mayflower moving van. Put your hope in God. Amen. I mean, finding the creative, you can't get any more creative in putting your hope in the person who created you. You can't get more creative in asking him. I'm telling you, as my family has been going through the book of Genesis, and we're still in the flood area, the flood's over, and now we're talking about how God's telling Noah to be fruitful and multiply, and it's just a very interesting discussion of watching how all of this stuff is unfolding. So we're slow rolling through the book of Genesis, but I don't want to miss some of the things that are in the New Testament that my girls can see, because actually my middle child, we were reading in her Bible, and she was fixated on a picture of the crucifixion. And it's like, oh yeah, we're going to get there, sweetie. Oh, trust me, we're going to get there. We talk about it a lot, but now you get a chance that you can read this. So you can get very creative in reading the love letters sent to you by the one who loves you most. That's the Word of God, reading God's Word in His love letter to you. Finding creative and putting worry to rest, it's time to put it into an end, folks. It really is. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Jira when we get back. But for the time being, folks, let's go to a break, and I'll talk to you on the flip side. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunay from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio, and I am so happy that you're here with me as we get into this whole idea of finding your creative, putting worry to rest. Before I go over to the next broadcast, next host, let me get into some cat coolers for a second here.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged, you need strong, you need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat coolers.
Yes, cat coolers. Get it as soon as you possibly can. Things about to get cray-cray up in here, and don't tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom didn't tell you about this. So one of the things that, there was a really good comment that came across here before going to the break. Actually, there's a lot of great comments in there. I want to kind of get one that I thought was really cool here, and is from Lep. He basically said, yet no one should not just bend over and grab our ankles and take more losses to our freedoms. Agreed. I agree with you 100%. The problem that we run into is, what's the phrase? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. A lack of planning does not constitute an emergency. And you'll have to admit that because I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's go to war. Let's fight these beasts, these animals that are trying to take away our liberties and everything like that. We must stop it. But can I ask you a question? Has anyone seen any plans? Has anyone seen any diagrams or schematics that were being pushed up to help us execute that process? Have the key players who are being the cancers of our society, who are being the moral, ethical cancers of our society, have we outlined them and basically have a removal plan? It's not the disaster that happened last week. And because everybody is having these fancy dreams of repeating what our founding fathers did when we had the great battle against Mother England, against Britain. We have these fantasies. I fantasize the ideas of being like the early patriots who basically died for our liberties. The question is what does the plan look like? I mean, let's go back to the JIRA program. Have you seen a JIRA database? Have you seen a JIRA website that's highlighting this process of what it looks like? Who's assigned what task? What does success look like defined on this? And what's the timeline as to when we're going to execute our plans and basically win our country back? Because if there is no plan, if there's no organizer, because understand this, we have been so haphazard in everything that we're doing. We've been so haphazard in everything we're doing. It seems like we've been shooting from the hips, and it just ain't work. It's just not working anymore. Yes, Lep, voting used to be our means of correcting political problems. Yes, and the key word in that statement, used to be, or the key phrase, used to be. Because now we have a system in place that is clear, being used by tyrannical systems around the country and tyrannical people. And what happens is, in the process of doing this, they have allowed themselves to hijack our election process. Nothing is safe anymore in this. Nothing is safe anymore. We are ruined because of the fact that we have been taken over by angry, disgusting, but well-planned people. Make no mistake, folks, we have been played. We were beaten. We were shellacked. Oh my goodness, we were shellacked. They got us well. They did us in. There's no way to overcome what we have dealt with because of the fact that they played their hand better than us. Dominion has changed that option. And see, so my thing is, it's like, I want to engage this, but what's the plan on even defeating the Dominion system? Again, if we don't have people of character and substance to overwhelm the odds in our communities and win cities, win states, win towns, because we have to get to the point right now, folks, that it goes beyond just paper tigers in the White House or paper tigers in government. We have to be people of substance so that even our enemies will say, you know what? I don't agree with a lot that they do, but I will tell you this much. That person's a person of character. Do you realize that in 2008, when Barack Obama was elected president of the United States of America, now Dominion could have played a part in that as well too, but I know a lot of conservatives, whites, men and women, who decided they were going to go across party lines because they wanted to see history being made. But we now see the results of history from 2008, 2012, and 2016. We see the results of what happens in there, and instead of coming up with people of substance and character, we keep putting pretenders and actors on the national platform. No plan. We just like being entertained. Well, now we deal with what happens. The stage is closed, the curtains falling, the screens are turned off, and the workers are sweeping up and cleaning up our concessions that we've left on the floor, whether it's popcorn, nacho cheese, or even Twizzler wrappers. The theater lights are closing. The end credits are over. The end credits of the Trump administration are here. The theaters are being closed. That stage is ending. But you know what? My friend did say, one of my good friends, Scott, he did say that Democrats pursuing impeachment 8 days out, and even if they secure it after he's out of office, Trump goes down in infamy. He will be remembered. His name will be long on the annals until they decide to scrub that out as well too. Because you can't celebrate impeaching the president and then later removing that from the history books because you don't want people to see how vile, wicked, and vindictive you really are. And we can't hide our vileness and vindictiveness. We could change our tweets. We could change how many people see our tweets, our posts, and everything like that. But God still sees our hearts. So why not be more creative in this whole process? Again, we have to figure out a way to do this so that in the end, we're more productive. Find our creative. We're going into a 4-day weekend. I'm not doing Monday's show. It's a holiday. We're going into a 4-day weekend for our kids. I'm going to play the black card, and I'm going to take off Martin Luther King Day. It'll be a repeat. But I want to spend more time this weekend. I've found I need to find, or I found some good lessons on helping me better myself. I'm going to work more with this JIRA program because it's something I support at work as well as it's something I have installed here at home. But I found another tool because I'm not going to lie to you. Most of the reasons why we fail to get anything executed is because we just don't have a plan. My boss has been saying to me for years, what's your project plan? What's the plan of execution to get everything done? And when I don't have one, that project is like, it's like, what? So what exactly are you doing again? Explain, Lucy. Explíqueme. Otro más. As for Raquel Lee from Room 13. And every time, over and over again, we fail because we don't plan, because we don't have a plan set out. We need to start finding tools that help us better plan things out. And oh my goodness, this one... I saw this that was really interesting. Kathy said this. This is beautiful. We need leaders not bent on revenge. You want to talk about creative? You want to talk about creative? I mean, think about this. Black people and Bush haters who kept saying Bush lied and people died, that Bush sent us into war because they insulted or tried to kill my daddy. That's what I still hear. That's what I heard literally 4 or 5 years ago. Because they came after my daddy. And when we see that even what they're doing right now, the vindictive effort to impeach Trump, yet once again, not just once, but twice, and this is in less than a year. It's vindictive. It's clearly vindictive. There's no way around it. Their actions are based on revenge. So we need to be better. We need to rise better. The problem is we get so wrapped up in our emotions. And this is when the Bible says, Jeremiah 17:9, the heart's deceitfully wicked beyond all measure. Who can know it? Is because of the fact that when we allow our passions, when we allow our pseudo-righteousness, our pseudo-indignation take over, we lay waste to a land, to people, and to their consciences. We are so destructive. Yeah, and you remember the other day when I was talking about us being snowflakes, I forgot to say, we are snowflakes. Bum, ba-dum, dun, 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 dun. Well, it's just not that. We are violent. Dun, 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 dun. Not only that, we are confrontational. Well, that one's work is too many of syllables to actually do that one, but you work with it. Okay? And all the energy that we make into fighting, combating, and wanting to win could be energy put into being creative in our lives to get those dreams that we've been pressing for so long. See, now this is great because I just learned that Randolph the Great, the Amazing, he has been using the JIRA tool probably as long as I've been supporting it. He says for 8 years now. I've been managing it for my job for almost 8 years now. It's a great tool. It really is a great. So if Ron can use Jira, if I can use Jira, you can use Jira. Now, again, I'm telling you, you have to do this before the 4th of next month. If the website is Atlassian.com, I'll get this to you so you understand where you're going, because I'm going to put it in the timeline for those of you who are watching on Facebook. You use this tool because it helps you manage things better. Trust me, my thoughts are all over the world, but days I find more success in when I'm using tools. If it's not Atlassian Jira, we have other tools that use in my team for getting our projects done or getting tasks done. Folks, please find that creative time, find that creative spirit. But here's one that I found in one of the latest tools I've worked with. And this one is called Pure Ref. Have you ever heard of this thing called Pure Ref? This thing is so stinking cool. So you're going to go to pureref.com. Okay. The reason why I say that, and I'm going to put this in the timeline as well too, they'll ask you for a small donation. It's in pounds, but you can turn around. I put this in, and this will also be on my website. It'll be on the Battle for Freedom website. But you have to understand that this tool, it's revolutionary. The applications of this tool are amazing. So let's see if I can describe this thing for you. As you sit here and you look at the Pure Ref tool, you get a chance to put yourself in a position where you can take images, and they'll recommend, like this video tutorial I'm going through, it basically says go to Pixabay to get images, because as I'm trying to build 3D environments, as I've worked on, let's see if I can find that. Yes, I've worked on a 3D character that I'm trying to make look as close as me. This is in my downtime when I can do these things and have fun with making this happen. But one of the things as I was doing this, I needed a reference point. So I took pictures of myself I took selfies from the front and the side and everything like that. And I had fun doing this because of the fact that it allowed me to use as a reference point to follow me and get as close as I can. Yeah. So yeah, check this out. And I did this without using Pure Ref. Here is a picture. If you're looking online, this is a 3D rendition that I tried to make as close to me as possible. That, and it took an hour or so of making tweaks, trying to follow, but I needed a reference point, and I'm trying to come up with one even better than that. I'm trying to come up with one better than that, so as you sit there and you look at it, you can you have a reference point to see exactly what's going on. So this Pure Ref tool allows you to set up like a various canvases, various tags, where you put it off onto a window. You go to Pixabay, or you go to any of these sites that has images that you like. I like going to Pexels.com as well. And from there, you could find the image, you can drag and drop it right into this thing. And so what the person did when they were working with this thing, it's really cool, is, let me see if I can open this and show you the person's work of what they did. It's powerful when you look at how they were able to mix their things and allow you to see what they were working on. And they used a framework because this person's working on clouds, this person's working on mountains, this person's working on rivers. If you see, most of our creativity comes from things that we've seen. And it's really difficult to build things from imagination based on things that you want to see but doesn't exist in your reality. It gets very difficult to create those things without a reference point. And so, the bigger pictures that allows you to recognize, oh, this is how you do this. Oh, this is pretty cool. Oh, this is how this person's did. I like this person's idea. Did you ever do that? Like you don't want to copy off of someone else's idea, someone else's concept. So what you do is you turn around and you enjoy building off. It's not showing it. Oh, crud. It's not showing it. I thought I could have it. Yep. I'll have to show you another time. But this view of PureRef is just pretty stinking cool. When you go to their website, they'll show you the different things that you can do when you go there, of how you can just drag and drop and you could create this amazing canvas of ideas and concepts that drives you towards what you want to do, what you want to build. I don't know what it is. I know every last one of us has a God-given talent and creativity. You're like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't draw. I can't write. I can't speak. I'm just a deaf, dumb, blind, mute. I'm just. We find every reason to say we can't get anything done. But I believe in every last one of us, God has given us the ability to create at some level. As we lose our rights, as we lose things that we hold dear to us, as economy may worsen and be as crazy as all get out, it could be a horrific experience, but you can make it better if you do best in trying to find your creative. Why is it in most of those dystopian movies, they find that the people who are most at peace are the people who are off finding creative things to do? Every last dystopian movie is not by the person who is stuck in a drone-like mentality, just going along with the things. Even when you look at Elysium, okay, with Matt Damon, it's crazy because the fact that he is doing his thing over and over and over again. He has an accident, he's going to die. But you had this ragtag group of individuals who are too busy, not happy with the status quo, and trying to figure out a way for freedom, to be free from the status quo. Every time you watch a dystopian movie, there's always one character who wasn't content with the status quo. And I think that we have become so lackadaisical, we've become so complacent that it's so difficult to move and be creative because we need reference points. Like I said, go to pureref.com, get this tool, and just start creating. That's what I want you to do this whole weekend. I'm giving you a homework assignment. Yes, we do crazy things like this on Mojo 50 Radio. One of them, here's another assignment that you can do. Do me a favor, go to mojo50.com, sign up. That's the first assignment. And you trust me, you won't get spammed. The second thing you can do while you're there is click the schedule button. It can take you to listen to all the different shows that are out there. This week, you had Steven and Dylan gone 2 hours with Defenders Live. Before them, for 2 hours, you have Dominic Izzo. Before that, you have Stu Peters and Rich Leonard. Before that, you have Andrew Coppins. Before that, you have Ron Edwards. Before that, is it Jim Dawes? And before that, you have Mike Phillip. Before that, it's Varies at 12. Before that, you have Gwen Rich. Before that, you have you can listen to Defenders Live. Before that, you have the Daily Mojo. Before that, you have me. No. 10 o'clock is Rocky Stucci. Sorry, correction. Rocky Stucci at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Today at 4 p.m., you have Sam Sorbo. No, Monday through Friday is Ron Edwards. But also while you're there, do me a favor, click the shop button. Buy something while you're there. Buy something. You want to be creative? Look at the creative stuff that they have in the Mojo 50 shop. You can really see people's creativity. Probably a couple of Jira projects to put some of those things together too. Or maybe even PureRef. But I'm not going to lie to you. I found this PureRef application, folks, and there's so much that I want to do, and I'm going to do. I may even figure out a way to do some of my own project management. Now, I don't think you can do this that you can share with other people. I'll find out if there's a way that you can network with people on what you're working with and look at the same file at the same time. I don't know. But if you could, for less than $6 US dollars, you can own a tool that you can run locally, not web dependent, not internet dependent, to build what you want to do. And right now, maybe before the internet goes down, you download as many images and slap it into this program, and you can organize it. You can organize this collaging tool later and have so much fun. Hey, Linda's wearing her Mojo 50 shirt today. You could too if you go to mojo50.com, mojo50.com/shop. Folks, listen. You have to understand, finding our creative is, do you realize that innovation changes societies? Think about the revolution of what iPhone, now granted, they really haven't changed much on the iPhone from the very first model. It's pretty much the same phone. But it changed the way we used phones. It changed the way we did things, how we process things. And I don't know what idea, what concept was going through the mind of Steve Jobs and his team when they finally came up with that phone. But there are many more Steve Jobs. There are many more Mark Zuckerbergs. There are many more Jeff, whatever his name is, from Amazon. There are a lot of us who are out there, but we can't be that creative if we are constricted by everyday news that keeps us constipated instead of creative. Pure and simple. It's the choice that we have to make. Because I believe that once we figure out what is that creative bent, what's that creative energy that we have in us, hey, you probably could see those plans of how we take back our country. You probably could see the plans on how we overcome a rigged electing system. Because of the fact that, in this process, I know that we want to be angry with our neighbors. We want to be angry with people who voted for Biden. We want to be angry for people who did not vote for Trump. But I tell you, we can be the change. See, we want society to change. And I saw it was great. There was this great thing. It says, if you want to see society change, be the change that you want your society to be. Be that change. Kathy says, the Industrial Revolution changed business models and family life. And I'll tell you, I think to a detriment. I mean, there's some aspects of the Industrial Revolution which is really great, right? But there's this current business model because I don't know if it's like the second, third, or fourth part of the Industrial Revolution, but a lot of businesses are just doing what everybody else is doing. Everybody's moving everything to the cloud. Everybody's consolidating, and everybody is leasing, and everybody's and what we've done is we've lost respect or appreciation for the human element of the businesses that allow our companies to succeed. Not every last one of them. There are still businesses that do invest in their people. But on the greater model, most companies are finding ways to cut corners and basically give the impression of success at the slaughtering of families and lives because of margins, profit margins, and extra comfortable vacations. We have to be a better model. We have to be a better institution. And if we don't create it, if you don't build it, they won't come. Let me build on something that was inspired to me and given to me last year, and it's the attitude of gratitude. Sending me your story, because you know what? Listen, folks, B4FAOG@gmail.com. I need you to send me emails. I need you to send them to me because of the fact that 2020 was barbarous, and we need good stories to share with one another, as we know that things are not going to be easy. Things are not going to be easy. It's going to be a disaster. You can play a part in creating a better environment by, one, being creative, contributing, and just adding positivity over the negativity. Preferably we can overwhelm it, but at the end of the day, that's God's choice on how it's going to happen. I saw this. This was a beautiful story that I shared a few days ago. It was shared on January 3rd by Stanford Adelstein. He says, I saw this gentleman, Tim, in Boston's Logan Airport with his sister he'd been visiting. It appeared he is both deaf and blind, and as I observed her signing into his hand for him to feel her words. When he came aboard the plane had been assigned to the plane. He had been assigned a middle seat of my row. The kind gentleman who had the aisle seat graciously gave it up for him. At this point, Tim was traveling alone. The flight attendants sincerely wanted to assist him, but had no way to communicate. I watched as they didn't flinch when they reached out to touch their faces and arms, and they took his hands and tried so hard to communicate with him, to no avail. He had some verbal ability, but clearly could not understand. The man who had given up his seat did his best to assist him with all things like opening coffee creamer and putting it in his coffee. When Tim made the attempt to stand up and feel his way to the restroom, no, we're doing this. His seatmate immediately was up to help him. Flight attendants were talking and among themselves. Someone suggested paging to see if anyone on board knew sign language, and that's when this lovely young woman, 15 years old, she learned ASL because she had dyslexia, and it was the easiest foreign language for her to learn. Folks, I know that you're gonna cancel on iHeartRadio, but this was a beautiful story. This is a beautiful story of this girl, 15 years of age, using her skills and using her talents to bless someone else. She got creative. She had dyslexia. She had an impediment. She had a learning disability. She had a physical disability that made learning, reading, and so much more easier. So she learned sign language. And look how God used her in blessing someone else. We choose to, yes, I like this. All actions have consequences, good, bad, or ugly. The question is, do you want yours to be good? I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom. I'm out. Brad Stacks and Daily Mojo is up next. Take care. God bless.